Why me? Who will I tell? Who will believe my dad's twin brother sexually abused me? Guess what? He was a minister in church. Now I ask myself, why did God create me? My biggest pride brought my greatest nightmare? These are the thoughts that have been running through my head for the past year. I need help urgently. Let me tell you how it all happened and his last words to me. Everyone always looks forward to the holidays, especially summer and Christmas breaks. These used to be moments I eagerly anticipated. Yeah, I used to. Not anymore. My hatred for holidays started during my longest holiday, which was after my high school examination. Since I wasn't getting into the university until 5 months later, I had to take my time to explore a lot I'd initially planned. I'd written out places I wanted to visit, things I wanted to do. I downloaded cooking tutorials I wanted to try out since I was going to be home alone most of the time. The first 2 months of this were really the best. I needed little or no supervision to do whatever I wanted. This made me feel like an adult, even though I was only 16 years old. I tried out so many stuff. I was never bored or tired. There was always something to do. I had a calendar and properly scheduled for each day. This was my guide to making sure my holiday was filled with so much fun. In July, my parents informed me about my cousins coming around to spend their summer break with us, and we had to make some preparations before their arrival. I was really excited hearing that news. I'm the only child of my parents, and trust me, it hasn't been easy being alone in this house. I sometimes feel really lonely. More so, I want to try out some fun activities I had planned with my cousins. Summer break came really fast, and I can remember vividly when my cousins and their parents, my Uncle Ben and Aunt Mary, arrived at our house. There was so much joy in the air. Little did I know that my greatest nightmare was about to begin. My cousins and their parents couldn't help but compliment how much I've grown since the last time we saw each other, which was about 2 years before that day. They went further to say I looked really beautiful. Well, I wasn't surprised by the compliments because I get them every day from my parents, most especially my dad. He never ceases to express how blessed he is to be my father. In his words, I'm beautiful, intelligent, smart, and bright. I never had a reason to doubt those words of his until now. I really couldn't doubt those words. My body shape alone was enough to express how beautiful I was. My friends at school would say they wonder how I had a great body structure considering my age. I had boys and men from school, church, and even the area where I live hitting on me, even though many of them knew my age. We had a wonderful meal, which my mom especially made for my uncle and his family. We spent more than an hour on the dinner table. There was so much catching up to do. I was so happy to see my cousins, especially Mary, because I knew we were going to do a lot of girl stuff together. My parents and I had gotten an extra bed in my room since mine couldn't accommodate both of us. My parents wanted us to stay in separate rooms since there were more than enough rooms in the house, but I insisted on sharing my room with her. At around 7:30 p.m., my uncle and aunt decided to take their leave, but my dad insisted on them staying, saying it was too late for them to leave our house. After so much back and forth, they decided to stay. We had to go to bed at around 10:30 p.m. I had a quick shower so that my cousin could do the same. I showed Mary how to find her way around my bathroom, and I stepped out of the bathroom to clean up and get my pajamas. Just as I dropped my towel, someone opened my room door. I quickly reached for my towel since I was naked. The person had entered before I could cover my body. As I turned to check who it was, I saw my beloved uncle standing by the door. He apologized for coming in unannounced and said he came in to check up on myself and my cousin and to say goodbye because he'd be leaving very early the next morning, and we definitely would not be awake by the time he and my aunt would leave. I felt sad for a minute, and we shared a very warm embrace. I really loved hugging my uncle. He asked after Mary, and I told him she was in the bathroom. Then he went further to mention how good my body looked. For the first time ever, that statement didn't sound good to me. Maybe because I wasn't properly dressed. I tried to move a bit away from him, but I couldn't move because right behind me was my wardrobe. He went further to start touching me in a weird manner. I asked why, and he said he couldn't ignore how beautiful I was and wants me to feel like a woman. I didn't understand that statement till he tried to kiss me. I immediately pushed him away and ran, but then he dragged me and my towel fell off. I was completely naked before my uncle. I felt my world crashing at that because I understood what was happening already. He used his gigantic hands to cover my mouth, pushed me on the bed. I tried shouting, but no one could hear me, not even Mary in my bathroom. My uncle had picked up my towel and stuffed it into my mouth. I struggled to get him off me, but he was way stronger than I was. He kept saying we could both enjoy this, but I wished he could hear me say I'd never done this before, and I was keeping it for marriage. Different thoughts ran through my head at this point. How I turned down so many boys, even though I liked a few, because I wanted to keep it until marriage. And then rape takes it away? Not just rape, but my uncle? My favorite uncle? My dad's twin brother? For the first time ever, I hated my existence. I hated why God created me. I hated why God created me with this body. I hated my body. All the curves and the bust size, I didn't want them any longer. I kept struggling until my uncle penetrated. Then, it dawned on me. It's finished. I wished Mary came out at this point, but she was busy humming songs while the shower was running with her under it. And I was here, having tears run down my ears with me under my favorite uncle. I wondered if he didn't care about his daughter seeing him in this position, or had he done this to her too? I could hear voices tell me how worthless I was at this moment. My uncle kept enjoying himself while I laid there lifeless. I just wanted to end my life at this point. Everything that mattered to me became worthless. The showers stopped running, and Uncle immediately stood up and begged for me to quickly clean up the bloodstains on my sheets as he threw a towel at me. His last words to me were, "Hope you enjoyed it." He then dashed out of the room while putting on his trousers. I reluctantly took out my bed sheets as Mary walked in from the bathroom. She immediately changed into her nightwear and went to bed with just a good night. I wish she knew what had just happened to me in the last 15 minutes. The entire joy of the holiday washed away. I've never been able to sleep well ever since. I tried drinking and smoking, thinking the pain would be taken away. It did, but only for a while. Now I'm an addict of both alcohol and smoking. My father's pride in the ditch. Why me? Who will I tell? Who will believe my dad's twin brother sexually abused me? Why did God create me? My biggest pride brought my greatest nightmare. These are the thoughts that have been running through my head for the past year. I need help.